Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Jessica Tichet, and in this video we're going to be learning the what, the why, and the how of herbal oil infusions and 5 simple ways that you can go about making your own customizable oil infusions. So if you're interested in learning how to create custom oils that you can use to spice up your DIY or store-bought products, please stay tuned. Okay, so what even is an herbal oil infusion? Simply put, an herbal oil infusion is a carrier oil that has been infused with an herb or a flower. Herbal oil infusion is a very simple process that allows us to extract the many powerful and healing properties of the plant part into a form that we can use. The beauty of an herbal oil infusion is that it can be customized to meet your hair and skincare needs. So from the carrier oil that you choose to the herb that you're choosing or herbs that you're choosing to infuse, you're able to customize the properties of that herb to meet the needs of your hair and scalp. From there, once you have all these properties into a usable form of oil, you're able to add it to your DIY projects or products, to your favorite store-bought products, or to use it as a standalone oil treatment. For example, you can use it for your face serum, hair growth oil. You can add it to your deep conditioners, your leave-in conditioners, or use it as a sealant for your hair. We'll be going over 5 different methods for infusing your herbs. That way you can figure out which ways work best for your lifestyle, your time. So in today's video, we're going to be making an herbal oil infusion using Amla, which is one of my favorite Ayurvedic herbs. Amla is very commonly used in Indian medicine for its medicinal properties. It does have a lot of benefits for the hair and skin. Anti-inflammatory, antimicrobial, and antioxidant properties that really make it healing and soothing to the scalp. Amla also has proven benefits in both male and female pattern hair loss. Amla helps block 5-alpha reductase enzyme. This enzyme is responsible for the speeding up of the production of DHT, or the formation of DHT. Now, DHT is what's responsible for adrenergic hair loss or male pattern hair loss. However, women can also experience adrenergic hair loss. Amla is very high in ascorbic acid, or vitamin C, which is a very powerful antioxidant, and it helps protect against oxidative stress that is caused from free radicals. You can also use amla in teas or amla paste for the hair. Vitamin C in large amounts can be drying to the hair, but the good thing about doing an herbal infusion or an oil infusion with amla is that vitamin C is actually water soluble. So when you create a tea or a paste with water, you're actually extracting a lot more concentration of vitamin C into your end product. However, by infusing amla into an oil, you're getting less of the drying effect because less vitamin C is able to absorb into the oil, but enough to where you're still getting the antioxidant benefits of the amla. And of course, the oil helps to mitigate the drying effect. But as always, you want to use these herbs in moderation and listen to your hair. So if it feels dry or if it feels like it's a little crunchy, then you want to, balance it out with moisture. Now that's just a brief overview of the benefits of amla and how they can help in your natural hair journey to improve your hair health. Now the benefits of making your own amla oil is that you know exactly what you're getting. Oftentimes in the market, amla oils can be, the carrier oil used can be like a mineral oil. You can also add artificial colors or harmful preservatives into the mixture. So by making your own, you're sure of its potency and what all is in it so that you know that it's safe to use. Okay, so now we know what an oil infusion is and we know what product we're going to be using, amla. So let's get into making an oil infusion. Here I'm using a 16-ounce wide mouth mason jar. I have about 10 ounces of olive oil, 10 tablespoons of amla powder, a nice wide mouth funnel, useful when you're using mason jars. I have my lids, and then I have something to stir with. Chopsticks work great, but here I just have a straw. When you're pouring in your olive oil, you want to make sure it is completely saturating all the powder. You'll notice air bubbles forming, so just make sure you keep stirring until all the air bubbles are gone and all the powder is visibly saturated. You want to make sure you have enough oil to cover all the powder, but leave a little bit of room to shake. Cover, shake, and you're set. We're going to be going over 5 different ways to make an herbal oil infusion. So the first 2 methods I'm going to go over are the long infusion methods. So we have the cold infusion method and the solar infusion method. Now, with both of these methods, actually all of these methods, what you're going to do is combine your carrier oil with your herb of choice into a mason jar, tightly seal it. With the cold infusion method, you're simply going to place the jar into a cool place, like a kitchen cabinet, and what you'll do is leave it there for 4 to 6 weeks. Every 1 to 3 days, go ahead and shake the jar up. That way you agitate the solution so that the herbs are exposed to the oil, and all the wonderful properties can be released into the oil. After 4 to 6 weeks, you go ahead and strain your oil in a method that I will demonstrate, and then you're free to use your oil. Now with the solar infusion method, it's similar. You're going to combine your herbs and your oil into a jar, and what you're going to do is you can either place that jar in a sunny windowsill, again for 4 to 6 weeks, up to 4 to 6 weeks. You'll go ahead and let the heat from the sun and the solar energy infuse the herbs into the oil. Or if you don't want to have the sun's direct rays on your oil, you can place your mason jar into an opaque cloth or brown paper bag and place it in the windowsill or outside for the heat of the sun to infuse the oils. I often use the second option, where I will place my oil into an opaque cloth and set it outside. Right now it's summertime, so we're getting some really nice warm days. But again, I've also used the windowsill method. So it's up to you. It depends on what oils you're using and your preference. Now the next three methods are for when you're in a pinch. You need some quick hair growth oil, or you need some quick oil for your hair, and you don't have 4 to 6 weeks to wait for an herbal oil infusion to complete. So we're going to be going over these three methods. You can use either a double boiler, a crock pot, or your stove. The first method we have, you can use your oven. All right, so what you're going to do is preheat your oven to 250 degrees, let it get to temperature, turn it off once it gets to temperature, place your oil infusion and make sure it's in a oven safe container that's not going to crack. Place your jar into the oven and let it sit for a couple hours. You can let it sit overnight. You can let it just completely infuse until the temperature of the oven is completely cooled off, in which case you'll go ahead and take out your oil. Your infusion will be complete, and then you'll go ahead and strain and store your oil. The other option is a crock pot and double boiler method. In the double boiler method, place the contents of your herbs and oils into the top of your boiler. Bring the water to a simmer. You want to make sure the temperature of the water is between 100 and 140 degrees. You don't want to burn your oil, and you don't want to burn your herbs. Okay, so I tend not to use that method when you're actually infusing the oil in your double boiler, just because you really do have to pay attention to the temperature of your oil to make sure you're not burning all the goodness that's in here trying to infuse. With the crock pot, it's similar. You'll go ahead and place your jar, your mason jar, in your crock pot. You'll bring the water up to approximately 1/3 of the jar, and then you'll set the heat to warm. If you have a slow cooker or a crock pot or Instapot that has like the slow cook setting or simmer method setting or whatever your low setting is, you can use that, but you do want to check the temperature to make sure it's between that 100 and 140 degree range, so you're not, again, overcooking your oils and herbs. So with those methods, it is a bit more meticulous in that you do have to continuously monitor the temperature. When I use my crock pot, I will also put a lid at the bottom of the crock pot. That way my jar can have something to sit on top of. That just is another method to help prevent the jar from getting too hot. Also, you don't want the water to boil out, right? So as the water starts to evaporate, you want to keep filling it so that your infusion isn't getting too hot, and then you don't want your jar to crack, right? So it takes a little bit more monitoring, but it can be done in approximately 1 to 5 hours, depending on how long you want to infuse your oil. Once you've finished with your infusion, you'll go ahead and drain and strain your herbs, and I'll go ahead and show you that. Getting any value out of this video, please press the like button, and if you haven't already done so, please subscribe and hit the bell notification so you're notified every time I make a video. Okay, now once your oil has infused for the desired amount of time, you're going to need to strain the herbs from the oil. For this video, I'm going to be showing you how I strain some fenugreek seeds. My Amla oil, I'm going to be slow infusing through the solar infusion method. So the process is the same. You'll need a measuring cup, a strainer, some cheesecloth or a muslin cloth, something that's going to work well to strain the bulk of your product. You go ahead and pour your contents. I use gloves for cleanliness sake, and also the oil gets very, very slippery. You want to use a muslin cloth to get the bulk of the seeds out. and go ahead and squeeze and strain from there. In your case, you'll be squeezing out the powder. Sometimes, especially with powder, you'll notice that a little bit still get through the muslin cloth. So in that case, what you'll do is you'll strain your oil a second time with the coffee filter. This is a very slow process, but it helps to really get a clear oil. Now, once you've strained your oil to your liking, you're going to go ahead and use some vitamin E to preserve. I'll talk about that shortly, but you're going to want to go ahead and store your oil in some nice glasses. Darker, like the amber or blue colored glasses are really good to help protect your oils from extra light, which can cause your oils to go rancid sooner. I will then go in with some vitamin E. Vitamin E is a nice natural preservative for oil or anhydrous products. Anhydrous meaning there's no water involved in the process. What vitamin E will do is it acts as a natural preservative, so it'll extend the shelf life of my oil. As it sits without the vitamin E, your oil will be good for about a year, but you want to be careful not to get any water into your oil, because bacteria loves water, okay, and that's what's going to help it go produce mold or fungus. You just don't want to have that situation, right? So keep your oils dry. All right, guys, so that is how I do my herbal oil infusions. One other thing with your oils, you do want to label it with the date. It's also helpful if you put the carrier oil and the herbs you used in your infusion, just for your own reference, so you know after a while all the oils start to look alike, or it's hard to discern the difference between what oil and what herb you used. So date is important, so you know how long your oil is good for. Like I said, usually 1 year without the vitamin E, and then up to 2 years with the vitamin E. Now, another important thing is to make sure you're looking at your oil regularly. If you notice that the clarity of the oil, it goes from a clear to a cloudy over time, that's a good indicator. Your oil to make sure that the color is not off, smell doesn't change, and of course if you see anything growing on the top, you know you got to toss it, right? So that's how I do my herbal oil infusions. I have linked the products that I've used down below in the description box if you're interested in trying your own herbal infusions. If you do try your own herbal infusions, please let me know how it goes for you. And if you got any value out of this video, please hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't already done so, and hit the notification bell so you'll be notified when I do come out with more videos. I do plan on posting once per week, so stay tuned to this channel for more tips and resources that'll help you along your natural hair journey. Thank you so much. Bye. Amla has antimicrobial. Amla has